Hey, what is going on, Fan Clan? Welcome back to the channel. My name is dannyphantump. Happy Friday. Yes, I am sick again. I know, Fanny, you were just sick a month ago. What, are you the police? What do you want me to do about it? I got two little kids. They keep me up late. There's nothing I can do about it. Sometimes your immune system just doesn't do well. We got weather changing every single day, temperature going up and down all over the place. It is what it is. We're going to battle through it. We're going to talk about alternate arts today because we haven't talked about them for like 3 months. And I really just want to know your opinion about what's going to happen in 2024. I'm really excited about 2024 personally. But before we jump into things, I am going to leave a link in the Discord, or I'm not smart. I'm going to leave a link in the description down below to our Discord. And the reason why is because I've got this this shiny Treasure EX box right here. So I've got 10 of these. I ordered 30 of them. 10 of them are here. I need to get 20 more of them. And we're going to basically, in all essence, give them away. But we're actually doing it a little bit differently because we're going to be doing a charity stream next week, Wednesday or Thursday. And the reason I'm going to put the Discord link down in the description below is so you can join Discord, because that's probably where I'm going to announce first what day we're actually doing the stream. I don't know exactly which. It's going to depend on when the rest of the boxes come in. But we have somebody in our community who needs a little bit of assistance. A big Pokemon fan who's dealing with some trouble. His 3-year-old son, 4-year-old son now is fighting T-cell lymphoma. It's not fun. Medical bills are stacking up. So we're going to donate all 30 boxes, and then we're going to do a charity stream, breaking them all open, and everything's going to go to this family. And I know money's tight for everybody right now, right? Like it's difficult no matter what. But as a community, as the fan clan, as the family, we are going to do what we can to make things better. So pay attention for that. Obviously, even if you can just hang out, like obviously any support, just positive words, things like that will mean a lot. But we'll give you more information about that as we get closer to that day. So that's going to happen next week at some point in time. All right, we're going to talk about alternate arts because they're all up and down, all over the place. And we talked about alternate arts last in September, beginning of September, like September 6th. And that was, we went over 3 months of data where it was really just this downward motion of a lot of different alternate arts. Some of them have actually rebounded really, really nicely. Some of them are sitting at 1-year highs right now, but some of them are continuing to fall. And it makes you ponder the question of, is this the bottom? It is a great time. What a time to be alive. What a time right now to be collecting Pokemon cards. Now, we've done a lot of math, a lot of statistics to try and determine how many alternate arts are in existence, specifically with the alternate art Vmaxes, to try and get a better understanding of how they might compare to like gold stars. I've seen a lot of comparisons to gold stars, and it's very, very eerily similar about how many alternate art Vmaxes are actually in existence because pull rates are so tough. I know, Fanny, hey, they printed 9 billion cards last year. There's going to be tons of alternate. You're right, there are going to be tons of alternate cards. However, because pull rates are so tough, I mean, I don't think there's quite as many as what a lot of people might think there are. And you can go back and watch those videos to kind of get an understanding of where we went with as far as the math goes. But alternate arts performing very interesting right now, and it's going to be interesting to continue to watch. These are like the fan favorites of pretty much all of the Sword and Shield generation, and so far the Scarlet and Violet generation too. A lot of people are going back to Sword and Shield because they love those alternate arts so much, so they're cracking those packs. Fanny, you can stop rambling now and just get into it. You're sick. Why are you trying to talk so much? Okay, you got me. Let's jump into the performance over the past year to see what's going on, a better understanding of what's going on. The great thing about recording these videos all the time and saving all the information and everything is that now, starting next year, I'm going to be able to stack things really well to go over, 2 years of data or 2.5 years of data or 3 years of data, so that way we can really get a good understanding of how the ebbs and flows go of the market, because you really want to make sure that you pinpoint the best, most ideal time to spend your collection dollars. And that's why I always preach to people, hey, make an Excel spreadsheet or write down in a notebook really what cards you're chasing and what price point you want to buy them at. Maybe Umbreon Vmax you want to buy, but you don't want to pay more than $450. Now, I don't know if we're going to get down to $450. Obviously, we haven't been there for over a year. I don't know if we're going to get back to that point or not, but it gives you a firm understanding of where you want to be at for that collection piece. And if it doesn't get there, then it doesn't get there. Then you just miss out on that collection piece. And that's okay. There's other cards that you can focus on. It is your budget, and you want to make sure you stick to your budget. That's the most important thing. But let's look at the Umbreon Vmax for a second here. You can see really all over the place over the past year. In March, it had this giant transcendence where it jumped all the way up to $652.25 in May for a raw modern card. That's actually very, very insane. to see how high it jumped up. And the amount of evolving skies, we talked about the amount of evolving skies a couple of videos ago that has probably been cracked, and there's a huge amount that have been open. Probably a lot more that still exist that are sealed. So Umbreon Vmax is going to get pulled and pulled and pulled for years to come. But you can see after that giant transcendence starting in June, really started going backwards and fell like crazy. I mean, the market in general really started unfolding and going backwards, and all the way up until October of 2023, where it hit about $495, $490, somewhere around there. So closing into that 1 year low of 472.07 that it hit at the beginning of the year. But now it has rebounded a little bit. Now that might just be a little blip because it's already started to come back down. You can see it jump back up in November a little bit, got closer to about 560, 570, and then came back down. Now it's sitting at 533.14. So we might see, and we've seen this a lot with other cards, basically a false correction where it goes up a little bit and then comes back down, and it might trend back downwards a little bit more, but it'll be interesting to see. You can let me know in the comment section down below what you think. I don't know if we're going to see a sub $500 Umbreon Vmax in the future, but we might, and it's definitely something that you want to keep your eye on, especially if it's a piece that you want to add to your collection. Don't rip a ton of evolving skies hoping to pull it, because we have all seen Fanny open up 30, 40 evolving skies packs in a row without getting anything except for a daddy phantom, and that was pretty much it. Gutina V, this one has been trending downward for pretty much the last year, partly because Lost Origin has just been reprinted and reprinted and reprinted. There was a giant booster box reprint that really impacted the market. Booster boxes dropped down below MSRP and then continued to fall. You could probably pick up booster boxes of Lost Origin for sub $100, especially using some of those TikTok deals over the past month. Now they're probably sitting right around 115, 120, 130. If you look hard enough, you could probably find Lost Origin booster boxes for around that price. But March is when Giratina V was at its peak. It jumped up to $331.89. It's a beautiful card. I love the whole distortion idea behind Giratina. It fits Giratina so well. I know it's a little bit busy, but that's okay. That's just Giratina. And it's been trending down really ever since March of 2023, much like what we saw of the Umbreon Vmax. Not as steady of a fall, but still very significant as it continues to drop. And you can see over the past month and a half, it has been a little bit more significant, trending down at a faster pace. So now it's down to 228.72. So you might see a sub 200 Giratina V over the next few months. It'll be interesting to see what happens in 2024, if we're hitting the bottom or not. A lot of people are jumping on alternate arts now because they think they're going to go back up. But with money being tight and people kind of hopping out of the game, moving over to One Piece or moving over to Lorcana, you might see some of these prices drop down even further. Rayquaza Vmax, same thing, just a different card. Actually, in March, when a lot of these other cards were trending downward, Rayquaza Vmax started moving upwards a little bit, and you can see in May is when it actually hit its 1 year high of 303.06, but then started trending down after that. And this is what I'm talking about right here at the end in October, where you see up, down, up, down. That's kind of what we're seeing right now with that Umbreon Vmax, which is why I don't know if we're necessarily quite at the bottom yet. But when up, down, did hit a 1 year low recently, $243.76 in November. Now it's trended back upwards a little bit and then gone back down a little bit. So now it's sitting at 258.63. Again, still much closer to its 1 year low than its 1 year high. Gengar Vmax is a different beast altogether. And here's the thing with Gengar. Gengar is a very popular Pokemon, and if you go back and look at all the printings of Gengar, pretty much all the way since it came out in what fossil set, Gengar has performed extremely well. Even lower rarity artworks, if you go back to like Phantom Forces and look at the EX, for example, just a regular art EX, that is performing extremely well, much better than a lot of other like secret rares from the same generation. So Gengar is just a completely different beast altogether. In March of 2023, this was sitting at 157.73 and really started trending upward all the way up until June, and then it kind of leveled out. It hit that 1 year high of about 210, then kind of leveled out a little bit, and then in October started trending downward. We thought, okay, well, maybe Gengar's following suit with a lot of these other ones. It dropped below 190, but now it's gone back up and is very close to its 1 year high again, sitting at 209.49 and continuing to trend in that upward direction. So Gengar, just a very popular Pokemon in general. Here's one of my personal favorites. This is probably like top 3 as far as alternate arts go, the Blazak Vmax, and it has trended downward like crazy over the past several months. Huge climb in March. March, you can see it jumping from basically $170 all the way up to that 1 year high of $227.70 over the span of like 2 months, which is insane growth. And then the bottom fell out, like what we saw with a lot of these other alternate arts, a lot of these other expensive cards. It's a super cool looking card. The color scheme in the background is absolutely amazing. The Inteleon doing karate, it looks so good, but really just trending in the downward direction. You can see hitting a 1 year low in November of 160.179. A lot of these alternate arts, the lowest point they have been at in over a year. Now it's sitting at 163.43, still way closer to its 1 year low than its 1 year high. Here's the Lugia V. This one got hit so hard, really probably because the God Tins that came out and the God Packs of Silver Tempest that came out, but ultimately just because it was easier to pull. And people, while there's a lot of people who like this card, this Lugia V, and personally I'm one of them who loves the lore because it just matches Lugia to the T, some people don't, and because of that, it hasn't been as popular as what you might see from some of the other ones. But you can see in December of 2022, not too long after Silver Tempest came out, this was sitting at 213.39. That was its high point, and trended downward right away, but relatively, like it was slow. It was slow dips here and there all over the place up until really March, April, and then it started moving a little bit faster. You can see in August of 2023, it started trying to trend upward again, and then just didn't work out. It's been a slow drop to the bottom here for Lugia V, but it dropped all the way down to 118.82 in November. Now it's climbed back up a little bit, 129.97. I don't know what's going to happen in the future with this one, but you might see it stay relatively flat for the next few months if you're looking to pick up a Lugia V. Leafeon Vmax, what is going on with Leafeon Vmax? This card is killing it over the last couple of months, which is very strange, especially when you compare it to the other cards in Evolving Skies. This one's been all over the place, trending downwards pretty much at the beginning of the year up until April. It hit that 140 mark and then started moving up. It jumped all the way up to basically a 1 year high right around 174, and then very steep decline right after that. Jumped all the way down to a 1 year low in September of 143, and now over the last 2 months it is actually sitting at a 1 year high. Leafeon Vmax is at the highest point it's ever been at, sitting at 174.76. So this may be a card that you want to wait on a little bit. Obviously beautiful artwork, looks super cool, but 174.76 definitely trending in the upward direction right now. It's very surprising. Sylvia Vmax, kind of the same thing where it's all over the place. It did see some big growth over the past couple months, but trending back downward now, and it wasn't able to hit that 1 year high. Not a whole lot of difference between the high and the low. You're looking at about 20% there, but in March of 2023, it jumped all the way up to that 1 year high of 146.89, dropped down as I hit my mic, and then relatively level, relatively flat from May all the way up until August before it dropped again, and then in October, hit that 1 year low of 126.75 before trending back in the upward direction again, sitting at 138.26 right now. So definitely closer to its 1 year high than its 1 year low, but very interesting to look at. Here's the big fire beast. I don't know what's going on with Charizard, but there's just not a lot of love for this card. I think people in general are just kind of sick of Charizard, and that's why this card isn't performing very well right now, but that just gives it potential for the long term. If this becomes a sub $100 card, I don't usually give recommendations, but if this becomes a sub $100 card, that might be the time you really want to pick it up. Like, you may not want to wait much longer, because I think over the course of years down the road, this one might perform very well, because I think right now we're just overloaded with Charizard, and if Pokemon does what they should do and give it a little bit before they print more Charizards, it might perform really well in the future. But you can see in December of 2022, 186.06 was the 1 year high for this card. It almost lost half of its value, dropping pretty much the entire year. In October of 2023, it was down to 103.30, so basically right around that $100 mark in October. Now it's gained a little bit of that back, about 10%, sitting at 116.77 currently, but still very cheap for that Charizard Alternate. The Galarian Moltres from Chilling Reign, this one's really cool. Love this card. Trending in the upward direction in March of 2023. The thing that's interesting about Chilling Reign, we're going to have to record another video on Chilling Reign, because it has moved out of stock now on the Pokemon Center website. And when we talk about MSRP, really what we're saying is it's going to be difficult for a lot of sealed product to move above MSRP when it's still available at MSRP on the Pokemon Center website. When that becomes unavailable, that's when things start changing quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see if Pokemon Center restocks it at some point, or if it's going to be out of stock, out of print, and then it's really going to be singularly focused on demand. It'd be very, very interesting to watch. March of 2023, this card started trending in the upward direction. It jumped up to 142.14 in April before dropping down like crazy. You can see in September of 2023, it hit that 1-year low of 117.83, so lost about 20% right there. Now it started trending back upward a little bit, 124.55, moving in the upward direction. Here's the Tyranitar V. Love this card with the sleepy Tyranitar right there, the leftovers. Oh, so good. But you can see it trending downward for the first part of 2023. In April, it was right around 110 or so, and then started shooting back up, hit 114.85 in June before dropping back down, and then started trending back upward. This one's been all over the place, much like what we saw from that Leafeon Vmax, and then trended downward again in November. It hit that 1-year low of 92.85. Now it has passed that $100 mark again, and really Battle Style is just not a set that a lot of people are opening, so I do think there's going to be a lot of Tyranitar Vs that come out in the future, but it might not be at a consistent pace enough to really impact the market at all. But this one is sitting at 101.12 right now. Then we've got the Aerodactyl V, this one from Lost Origin. Beautiful artwork with the Tropius down there. Aerodactyl flying over the over the landscape. It looks so good. In December of 2022, this was a $125 card. It jumped up to $129.82 in January as its 1-year high. Relatively flat for the first half of 2023, and then like what we saw from a lot of these other alternate arts, just fell down, and it's sitting at its 1-year low right now of 84.93, continuing to trend in the downward direction. Beautiful looking card. The Dragonite V from Evolving Skies. A lot of people love this card, even though it's not an evolution. It's beautiful artwork, so it's the fan favorite for a lot of people in Evolving Skies, and because of that, it was trending upward a little bit later than the other alternate arts that we looked at. You can see in May of 2023 is really when this card peaked, hitting 116.98, but then it fell very quickly down to August of 2023, where it hit that 1-year low. So it hit that 1-year low a little bit sooner than some of these other ones, $87.92, and now it's slowly starting to creep up again, sitting at $94.93. But because of the artwork, how beautiful this card is, wouldn't surprise me if it hit $100 again fairly soon. The Machamp V, this is my personal favorite of all the alternate arts. Beautiful looking card, really consistent for the first half of 2023. This card started out pre-order pricing right around $50, jumped up like crazy because of the artwork, and again, alternate art's just tough to pull. Relatively consistent for the first half of 2023, jumped up to 117.47 in May. That was its 1-year high, but then again, like the other alternate arts, bottom fell out and it just continued to crash down. Hit $81.98 last month. Now it's gained a little bit back, but still sitting at $82.49, not performing extremely well. And then the last one I think we're looking at is the Rayquaza V. There's a lot of other alternate arts that you can look at. You can just go to tcgplayer.com, type in the word alternate, and then just look. I mean, there's probably like 5-6 pages, maybe even a few more that you can look at, but very interesting. Some of them very cheap right now. That's Sandaconda Vmax or Sandaconda V from Fusion Strike, a $3 card. Very interesting to look at. Rayquaza V, December of 2022, this was sitting at a 1-year high of $96.51. Again, very flat for the first half of 2023, right around that $100 mark, $90 mark, and then really just kind of fell apart after that, lost over 20% over the past 3-4 months, sitting at $70.73 right now, but continuing to trend in the downward direction. So I do want to know if you could humor me and let me know in the comment section down below how you think alternate arts will perform in 2024. Do you think we've hit the bottom on these? Do you think they will start moving up in price starting in 2024? Obviously, money is tight. A lot of people, like I said before, are falling out of favor with Pokemon, moving into One Piece or moving into Lorcana. It's a great market right now for a lot of people who are interested in buying pieces for their collection that they're missing out on, and that's the thing that you want to focus on right now, filling out some of those collection pieces, but making sure that you set a budget, making sure that you make smart decisions when it comes to spending your collection dollars. I hope you guys like the content. If you do, give Fanny a like, leave a comment down below, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, share the video. I know that's asking a lot. That's me asking a lot. You don't have to do any of those things. That's just me asking. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I'll be back in a couple days with another video. Until next time, guys. Peace.